Good morning. Good morning, good people. Today is Saturday, December 28th, 2024. Yeah. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. Here we are at G.school, part of Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life. Preparation for what comes next. Good morning, what not a bevy, like water bevy, like water. Water, drink. Bevy, water. Okay, how are things in Fort Jacks today? Our outpost. Heard from Matt several times. Got to see what's going on with him. You say like a New Yorker, not an Asian, LOL. What a bevy. What a bevy. On heading back to Jackson. Oh, yeah, right. How are things in Mo-Ginia? Not less Ginia, Mo-Ginia. Okay, so here we are. Our theme of today, one of my favorites, the categorical imperative. Categorical imperative. What? Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. One of the most important tools you can carry around in your virtual toolbox. Let us see. Advice from an 80-year-old. Beware of the person who has nothing to lose. Right, because they will take you down. That's like a stage 1 tribe. Beware the person with nothing to lose. Oh, forgot my oil, but that's okay. Okay, what else we got? We got Seth Godin, Fiblets. Not sure what that is. We'll find that out. Ba-boom, ba-bing. Yeah, categorical imperative. So, a little bit back to our disclosure, disclaimer. Good morning, Diana. How are things in Fort Portland? Okay, so again, this is part of Department of Career Services G.school, where our focus is the spiritual side. Preparation for what comes next, because we are not just atoms in the void. At the top of the worksheet is a link to the latest version of the book. And I just had a clever idea yesterday. And in the inside of the book, oh yeah, I've got to show something. On the inside of the book, what's that? What not a bevy? It's my new hat. Ooh. Elise, right, McConney Farms. So here's what Lucy Cricket says. The shirt is from our favorite store in Haiku. Oh, shirt, that's over there. The hat has our new McConney Farm logo that was designed by Rox. Only a few people have these hats, and one of them is Owen Wilson. LOL. We like you. No, we love you. Okay, so what I'm going to do with the book that is What If book is to put a QR code in the center that goes to a shared folder in the Google Drive that will always have the most updated version of the book and other information, informazione, and also one to a website. So McConney Farm. Nice logo. Big, bold, black. It's black. Okay, so Oh yeah, disclaimer. This is not for people who are saved. If you're saved, you don't need it. It's not for people who are successful, because you're already successful. However, all are welcome. All are welcome. And I would say come as a student to learn how other people might think, to be able to see the world through their eyes, not just your eyes, through their eyes as well. And this is a red letter based thing. What? Yeah, red letter based. Why? We have a minimalist from below theology, Christology, where we start from the what if. What if Jesus was who he said he was? And then we build the case that that is true. So, yeah, I'm just thinking about other things. I'm thinking about my next class. I already have an assignment, but my next class at Santa Clara in GPPM, Graduate Program in Pastoral Ministry. All right, so categorical imperative. Time is racing, 6:35 in. Again, G.school is really about the fourth leg on the table, the spiritual leg. So first leg, physical, fitness and health. Mental, ABC, always A, always B, B, C, learning. Always be learning, ABC. Emotional, if you can't control your emotions, don't worry, somebody else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game. Okay? And then fourth is the most important, not the least important, most important is the spiritual. Preparation for what comes next, because the evidence is becoming very compelling because of NDE, near-death experiences and real experiences after death. It's becoming pretty compelling that we do have a transcendent soul. What? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct. It's becoming somewhat apparent that that is the case. We have a transcendent soul. And if we do have a transcendent soul, we can ask ourselves the question of, if we're alive now and we have a transcendent soul, is it more likely that what comes now has an impact on what comes later, or is it doesn't matter? And if you take the position, it doesn't matter what happens now, it doesn't matter what you do now, what comes next is going to be the same for everyone. That kind of begs the question, well, what's the purpose of this then? And on the other hand, if your answer is, well, what comes next is related to what comes now, then that gives sense to what comes now. Meaning, if how you do now has an impact on your future, that makes what comes now have value in itself. Okay. In other words, why do we have the what comes now? Because it's preparation for the future. How you do now determines what happens next. That makes sense. To say, well, it doesn't matter what you're doing now, what comes next is the same for everyone. So it's like, well, so you can be good, you can be bad, you can do things, you can do nothing. It doesn't really matter. Everybody's going to go to the same place. That's kind of contrary to everything that we know and experience. What we experience in life is, for example, if you want to grow plants, the better you take care of them, to grow them, to nurture them, the better they're going to produce. If you say, well, it doesn't matter how you treat them, they're going to produce the same amount of fruit anyway in the end, the next stage, fruit production. it's going to be the same. You don't have to water it. You don't have to worry about pests. You don't have to worry about fungus. You don't have to worry about anything. It's going to do its own thing. Well, what's the point? What's the point of having this stage right here? There's not really any point. But if what you do to nurture and raise the plant has an impact on what happens next on its fruit bearing, that gives validity to taking care of the plant so it will bear fruit. So we choose to take that position. We have a transcendent soul, and what we do now has an impact on what happens next. Okay, cool, good. And so we're here to help people prepare for that in 3 ways: physical, mental, and emotional. Right, repetition, repetition, repetition. Saying the same thing over again. All righty then, 11 minutes in, go to the worksheet. TED Talk, Kingdom of Heaven, Categorical Imperative. Let's talk about that. What the mofo is the Categorical Imperative? Who knows? Do you know, Diana? Do you know what not a bevy? Do you know? Do you know? That's a riff on Glengarry and Glen Ross. I can go out tonight and sell $10,000. Can you? Can you? I can go out tonight and make 15 train sets. Can you? Can you? If everyone behaved this way, would the world be better or worse? Okay, yeah, so that's a good memory of it. It gets to be quite complex. And there's 2 kinds of parts. I know, but it hurts my head to think. Interesting. Okay, so the categorical imperative. You're trying to figure out, I have a decision to make. Should I do this or should I do that? And the idea would be, you would say, okay, in a simple formulation, there's a term. You ask yourself, you say, okay, do I want to do A or B? You say, well, if there's a law that says everybody must do A, and everybody did A, would the world be a better place? If the answer is yes, it passes the categorical imperative test. If the answer is no, it doesn't. So you could say, is smoking marijuana good? Should I smoke marijuana? And you say, okay, well, if it was a law and everybody had to smoke marijuana, would the world be a better place? Some people immediately say, yeah, man, because everybody would be at peace, no wars, no fighting, no violence. And then you think about it, and it's like, well, who's going to do the hard work? Right? So you say that doesn't pass the categorical imperative test. And then the other one is respect for persons. So there's 2 parts. One is the something ability. It's a kind of a complex word, but it means everybody doing it. And then the other one is respect for persons. You don't manipulate people. You don't use people as an end in themselves. We can use each other as an end. I'm using you to help produce this podcast. And you should be using me to get knowledge, get information, help you build better habits, etc. So let's tie this back into Stoicism. Upon the death of Socrates, Western philosophy broke down into 3 parts: hedonism, skepticism, Stoicism. Hedonism was act such that whatever you do makes you happy without injuring other people. That doesn't work because you can't ever actually have a system where you can be happy and other people are also happy, because some of the things that make me happy might not make you happy. I like playing loud music and you don't like it. Well, it breaks down. Hedonism breaks down at that point. Epicureanism breaks down at that point. Skepticism. We don't know anything. How do we know what you're saying is true? Well, that breaks down because people don't accept things as true without knowing that they're true. So how do we know that the moon is not made of green cheese? Have you ever been there? Or not green cheese, but how do you know the moon isn't made of cheese? Have you ever been there? No. Well, then you don't really know. How do you know there are other planets? Have you been on them? Just because you look through a microscope or a telescope doesn't mean that's a planet. How do you know? The Earth is round. How do you know? Have you walked around it? Have you been to outer space? The Earth is only 6,000 years old. Okay, so anyway, skepticism doesn't pass the categorical imperative test, because if everybody was a skeptic, nothing would be, prove it, man, prove it. We wouldn't. We have to have belief and we have to have faith. Stoicism, moral virtue is enough. If everybody acted that way, would the world be a better place? If everybody believed in Stoicism, if everybody acted such that moral virtue was enough, just do the right thing at the right time in the right way for the right reason. That's moral virtue, doing the right thing at the right time in the right way for the right reason. If everybody did that, would it pass the categorical imperative test? Yes. So, in the TED Talk for today, Kingdom of Heaven, that's where the categorical imperative is broken down using the movie Kingdom of Heaven from Like Stories of Old. Very good one. Watch it. They do a very good job of breaking it down on how you should behave. Kant's moral philosophy. Try to act such that you're doing. So the point would be, try to use moral virtue. Try to act with moral virtue at all times, knowing that if you do, it will always pass the categorical imperative test, so you know you're doing the right thing. And extra points, Johnny, everything Jesus said was compatible with moral virtue is enough, and it passed the categorical imperative test. Jesus. Okay. All right, people, we're at 1804N. What not a bevy. You have a busy day. Do you have a busy day? What not a bevy? What not a bevy? What not a bevy? Okay. Okay, I have a busy day today. I'm just thinking about something. I'm getting my haircut fixed. Your haircut fixed. The mullet didn't turn out good yesterday. LOL. Okay. Well, did you bring in pictures? Okay. Well, we'll talk about that later. This too shall pass, and I'm going to say, and cut.